trading month. But what do we do every time we get down here to 599? Buyers step up and push it to the top of the range. So keys is my main focus here. Either we're going to get a reclaim over this or a break and retest to the downside here. Red Folder News wasn't that good. You can see that pretty much led to the downside during the pre-market. I don't want to chase the shorts right off of open. I don't want to get caught in something like that. So the only way I really take a short right at the open, I got to get proper displacement and then see some type of pullback here. And then of course, right, the reclaim, break and retest back above 599. I love that. We can look to target the previous day low and then also the previous day close, which is a gap fill. So this is all a gap here. If we reclaim 599 to the upside, that's a gap fill play. So my main focus is going to be QQQ at open. Tesla. So Tesla here, we can go here, right? It's all going to depend on what Q's wants to do because it's following Q's. So I'm really looking for, if Q's wants to stay heavy under that 599 and we don't get a setup, a pop and fade off the previous day low. If that doesn't set up, I'm just going to ignore this level. And then the real key level to look for a trade off of is going to be the retest off of 402.45, which is a weekly level, or a reclaim above that. I'm going to go here to the daily. Right, you can see this is a bit more clean. So 2 days in a row, we've technically closed above this weekly 402 on the daily. Right, it's a key level here on the weekly. When you go here, right, you can see there's some resistance sitting here at 407.30. So we've already broken the our key level 402.45 during the pre-market. Obviously, we've gapped down. So if we just open and go straight to the upside, we're just filling the gap. I understand that, especially if QQQ reclaims 599, the bottom of the range. I won't be surprised if Qs and all these other tech names follow to the upside. So regarding the previous day low, I would only be looking for a short off of that into 595.95. If we want to stay heavy and don't get a trade off of here, then of course, right, looking for a break and retest under here for continuation lower, or depends on what Keys wants to do, a pullback long off this 395. Like I said, if we miss a trade off the previous day low, I'm not looking to play the reclaim here and play the gap fill to the upside here on Tesla. I would rather just wait for my key level reaction here off of 402.45. So we'll see what sets up here on Tesla. Like I said, if these names want to, everything gap down, everything has gap down. So if we just have straight upside at open, we're just filling the gap. I did have Amazon as a side watch. Been set an alert here. This was just pretty heavy during the pre-market. Very, very heavy. So I was looking for a pop and fade off this previous day low or off our weekly. Kind of just depends on what Q's wants to do. So you can set an alert here on Amazon that sets up. NVIDIA, right, just pretty much dead smack in the middle of the range. It is coming down pretty heavy though. Very, very heavy. I broke this name down, so I wouldn't rule this out. I'm very curious. You see I have an alert set here. So it all depends on what Keys wants to do. We are starting to get heavy on NVIDIA pre-market, which is why I like it, because I don't feel like, okay, if we open up here, we're not extended, right? Very different if we open up at the top of the range or middle of the range, and then we get a reaction off of 178. So NVIDIA is solid. I'm waiting for this because if the market wants to stay heavy and NVIDIA gives us a break and retest under 178, that's solid under the previous day low. We can definitely see a pullback here to 174.90. So those are the main watches coming into today. And then as for SPY, you can see SPY. That's why I'm being a little cautious. You can see SPY starting to base. It's starting to base at this 671.60. We've done this before. So let me go here to weekly just to get a better visual. Or we've done this before, right? Last time we came down here, it was a peak and fell that led back up to 687, and it's a gap fill play. So we'll also see what these names want to do once or if we approach the previous day low here, because we could just get a pop and fade off the previous day low on SPY. If we reclaim 677.25, we can see some upside. So I will be watching SPY and Qs, right? If SPY wants to hold that weekly level, I can see Qs giving us a break and retest over 599.35. This is really the highest probability shot for a long on Qs. We're at the bottom of the range here. This is a big deal. We're back at 599. So we'll see what sets up here. If this sets up, we can take this target in the previous day low, right? And then this gap will play to the upside. So main focus for me is definitely going to be Qs. You can see we're reclaiming this. I will want us to pop up a little bit and then get a pullback. I don't want to just take this right off the jump. That's very aggressive. But like I said, if Qs wants to fill the gap and SPY, we can see a couple of these tech names just rallying to the upside as well. We'll see what sets up here. We got about 2 minutes here to market open. So far it looks good. Seeing a little bit of a relative weakness here on Tesla. So we just got to be patient and see what sets up. And then regarding contracts, anything I take, because I've already looked at this, anything I take, yeah, this is a big, yeah, this is the reclaim I want to see here. Let's see. It will be Tuesday expiration. Let's see. Um, Okay. Tuesday would be the 11th. We'll either get a pop and fade off this previous day low here. Relative strength here on NVIDIA, but it's just in the middle of no man's land. So we're going to be patient, see what sets up. We are reclaiming this 599. Relative strength on NVIDIA, relative weakness on Tesla. As of right now, Q's is under the previous day low. SPY's pulling back as well. Can watch Tesla, can watch Q's. I like Tesla, but I need Q's to break under this 599. Let's see what Q's does at this previous day low here. If we get a pullback into it. You can see Tesla wicking off this 395 with Q's. Really just being patient here on Q's. We'll see if Q's reject or break above. If Q's breaks above the previous day low, I would definitely look for a long entry over that, targeting the previous day high in a gap fill. Just if that holds and we reclaim the previous day low, the bulls are in control. Right now, we are defending the bottom of the range, 599.35 here on Q's. Tesla long over 395 looks good. I just don't want to go long into this previous day low here on the Q's. You can see Tesla held because Q's is holding. So I'm just waiting to see, do we do this on the Q's or do we do that? Most importantly, we are holding the bottom of the range, 599. So I like shorts on Tesla, but I need Q's to get under this 599.35. You can see really no relative strength or weakness on Tesla. That's in sync with the market. Unfortunately, NVIDIA is sitting in the middle of no man's land. Relative strength here on NVIDIA compared to the market. Not as a volatile open as I thought it would be, which is a good thing. Let it just come to us. Okay. SPY broke. Also look at, Monday expiration here on Qs just because Tuesday, Tuesday expiration called it pretty expensive. So you can look at the 9th if you want, 9th or the 10th here. Tesla. You can look at the 395 puts here on Tesla. And then for Qs, I'm looking at Monday expiration, 598 puts. 598 puts here on Qs. It's got to be patient, wait for a proper candle displacement. Monday expiration on Qs. That's what I'm looking at. I will want one strike out of the money. So as of right now, that's 599. So one strike out of the money on Qs. Looking at Qs, fingers on the trigger. Just don't want to get caught in a peak and fail here. It's a weekly level, so we actually could wait for a little bit more displacement, like Tesla. Like I said, Tesla, I'm looking at the 395 puts here. Tuesday expiration on Tesla. I'm looking at Qs. See if some heavy selling steps in. That's why you wait for displacement. You don't want to get caught in a peak and fail. You can also look at SPY. SPY's 271.60. You can look for a retest there. You got better displacement on that. I'm being very cautious here because I know it's a weekly. So we could just see a peak and fail. And what does that do? That fuels that move higher. So see what I mean? Displacement, displacement. You get an instant retest there. You think to take it. You get stopped out. Yeah, if Qs can reclaim this previous day low, that looks really good. I just got to be patient here. That would also be a break over the high day. SPY is retesting our weekly 671.60. I think if we reclaim that on the SPY, we can see now perfect rejection here on the SPY off of that. I'm not really intrigued on this short on Tesla just because Q's reclaimed 599. If Q's can get over this previous day high, you can even look at Tesla over break and retest over 395, gap fill play to the upside. Like I said, this really been a pattern every day. Is we'll have some sharp downside or upside, and then we'll just have a V-shaped recovery. SPY is staying strong under the 671.60. I would say Tesla is kind of moving here with SPY a little bit. So I can't really short any tech name while Q's is defending the bottom of this range, 599. See how we felt this key level, reclaimed it, and straight upside? Not even a retest off of 599. So key level here is this previous day low. We'll see what sets up here. If we reclaim this lows on the PDL on Qs, the bulls are definitely in control. They held the bottom of the range and then they reclaim the previous day low. Here on the 1 minute though, SPY is respecting, like rejecting this thing on the dot. 671.60. It's a weekly level. So I want to see, okay, is this a peak and fell too? That's what we've been seeing like every day. As for me, Qs is just sitting in a perfect spot on the chart to pay attention to. Really don't want it to chop, but we'll see. Oh, long Qs, I want to give this some time, so it's just the contracts look better for Monday. Yeah, nice peak and fail here on Tesla. Like I said, I don't care to short any tech name right now if Qs is holding 599. We are fully bearish bias if Qs can get under 599 because we'll also be under the previous day low and broke outside of the range. When you're looking at this from the higher time frame, we're holding the bottom of this range right now. So I'm just focused on Qs. I hope we just don't chop in here. And a break to either side would be solid because basically we're sitting is, roughly a $3 gap in between. So I think if SPY can reclaim this 671, I think Q's can get a push to the upside. We won't know until we know. There's a lot of wicks sitting in here, but we are just sitting sideways. So you can see the relative strength here on the video. Right at open, just shot to the upside, and you can see Tesla and Q shot to the downside. Really hope this just doesn't start to chop. SPY and Qs are starting to sit sideways a little bit. Well, you can see Qs is sitting sideways. Yeah, very high. I was looking at that too. Just gonna retest here on Amazon. Right, very strong open here on Amazon. Maybe if you can get a retest off of 216.45 or even this previous day low. Okay. Let's see if we can get a proper pullback here on Tesla. Hughes has to give this up. See that? Like, see these big wicks? When Hughes, look at that. Yeah, it's holding this. See that on Amazon? That's why it's just hard to short. The deeper the pullback, the better. I would really want a retest. I'm going to ignore this. I would really want a retest here off of my weekly level, a break and retest off of this. We got the displacement here on Amazon. See what I mean? Because I don't want to short off this. I get stopped out, but my thesis is still correct because we're under 216. So you want to take your trade at the key level where you know your thesis is invalidated, which will be a break back above 216. See if we can get a pullback here on Amazon. Oof. Uh, it would be the 215 puts. The volume is decent. That would be Monday expiration. That's just if we get a pullback here. There is some relative weakness here on Amazon. The chart you can see is way cleaner compared to Tesla and Qs, as you can see. We just need to retest off that. Qs and Tesla are definitely identical twins right now. It's the only way I short Amazon. A retest off my weekly 216.45. It's the only way. Like I said in the close watch list, we already filled the gap, completed this objective. You can see we had a peak and fell off this level, so that looks good. Let's see here. As for Qs, let's see. For the ninth expiration, the IV is okay. Sitting at 26. I'm around that to 27%. I wouldn't play a zero though. The zero is definitely elevated here. The average IV on QQQ is roughly 30, so Monday expiration looks solid. You can see there's a lot of wicks here in like this 601, 600 area. Yeah. I don't care to play the pop and fade off of that, but if we reject that, that's showing me confirmation, and then I would just wait for that if that sets up. Key lesson here is like, right, just respecting cues, right? It's a couple of fake outs here. It looks beautiful, break and retest, hammer stick wicks off of these, but if cues is holding this 599, I'm not messing with that. Only name that's showing somewhat relative weakness to me is Amazon. That's about it. And then clearly you can see relative strength here on NVIDIA. We'll see what happens at 183 if we get there. Um, yeah, SPY's just like chopping around this. Yeah, see, this has happened before. Look left. Came down here, so hasn't even been 30 minutes. I want to see like, okay, cool, is this a peak and fell? On the 1 minute though, we are really respecting this to the downside on the SPY, but let's see if we can reclaim this. We do have a gap fill to the upside. Right now, I'm not too eager to short here. We've had a big move during the pre-market. Q's is doing its job. This thing is not giving up 599. Look at that. Just hammer stick candle right off of it. Yeah, it's holding that. Q's is actually stronger here than SPY. Let's see. Yeah, just a crappy looking PA right now where Q's is sitting, just mainly because I would even like Tesla right over this 395. It's the bottom of the range, and then it's a gap fill play to the upside. But I'm not going to go long into a previous day low here on Q's. So Q's is just sitting in a very weird spot. Ignore the intraday noise, higher time frame, 599 being respected. Technically, right, you can see you did get a break and a retest here of 599. Honestly, Michael, you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. You could just use today as a lesson, kind of a break-even week anyway, so just can't go wrong. And that's really been the thing. This week we've had a lot of big things happen pre-market. Like look at Q's. We closed at 608. We closed at 608. We opened at 598. So all the, when we come into the day and we chop like this, it's mainly because the move has already happened. We've already had such a big move. And then right, you can tell it's really not an A plus high opportunity day. Q's look promising at open right at this 599, but the price action is just not clean. And then there's really nothing on the tech names. There's nothing on Nvidia. Tesla looks terrible, as you can see. Right, you see we had that peak and fell here. Yeah, on Amazon. This is like right on the close watch. You ended up just getting an instant break and retest here. So I would have needed a little bit more displacement to not get faked out. Let's see, we ended up breaking to 216.24. Yeah, that's not enough displacement for me. I'm not taking that, especially with Q's holding 599. So, but Amazon ended up playing off the close watch. It's the only name that seems to have like some clean price action and now relative weakness compared to the market. Palantir, yeah, nothing on Palantir. AMD, nothing on AMD, crappy. Apple, see, under the previous day low, under this weekly. Yeah, no setup here on Apple. Just crappy price action. So, yeah, across the board. I really did like Amazon just because it already completed its objective. That's something I was paying attention to. It filled the gap within 2 days. Within 2 days, just straight upside. And then this is unmitigated liquidity. We ended up breaking 211.40, right? We still need to retest this. So I like the confluence here that yesterday, right? We held this as support. It was resistance, and as you can see today, turn that back into resistance. So a nice peak and fell off of this. I think we could see 211 today, especially if it's showing relative weakness compared to the market. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Another tough entry though. It would have been very hard to catch this. Because with Q's holding 599, you would have to play the instant break and retest there. And then you could see we're kind of just moving higher. So possible squeeze out. I definitely wouldn't have taken that. This was intriguing to me. Once we were here, I was like, okay, cool. Now let me look for a pullback. But as you can see, just never got it. Like I said yesterday, just get a lot of breaks and no retest lately. Yeah, probably just a cash day because you can tell, like, even if you do get the break under 599 here on Q's, which we're holding very well, the price action is just not good. And I would need us to break under this lower day. I need a new lower day here before I look for a retest on 599. Like I said, we're zoomed in on the smaller time frame. On the weekly, on the daily, this thing is holding very strong. So it's a low probability day. You can't go wrong. Just really walking away. If you look at Q's here on the 15 minute, it looks a little better. Let me go to the 15 minute. Look at these wicks. Look at that. We were holding this thing very strong, very, very strong, all under here. Yeah, SPY is what's really moving everything right now. Right now, we're getting a 7 a.m. pop. Really just SPY. If you look at SPY, things strong. All right, 7 a.m. pop right now. All right, so yeah, yeah, that would have been solid. Yeah, I'll sit here till 7:30. Most likely just gonna be a cash day for me though. Because we would need SPY to push up into this previous day low. SPY still making lower lows. And this is why like the price action is a little annoying because the real entry's here. This is where I want to be long on Qs. I want to be long down here. Once I saw this, like I knew that was kind of out of the question. Because like I said, the our thesis is hey, 599 bottom of the range. Right, we can see the top. I don't want to go long off the previous day high. I'm sorry, previous day low, and then I fell under that. Right, because then my thesis is still correct. We're above 599. So that's why I'm very strict on like taking trades where your thesis is invalidated. You can see we are rejecting this, but intraday here, 599 held very well. Sucks we didn't get it. I tried not to be too excited at open. I was like, oh man, we're at the bottom of the range. Just looks good. Because we held this, we can see upside now. We could definitely see upside. We have a gap fill. If we reclaim this previous day low, the bulls are in control on the day. It's really no doubt. Never got an entry to the upside off of 395 here on Tesla. This also has a gap fill back to the upside. All these names gap down. So, so some tech names. Microsoft. Yeah, see, Microsoft just been sitting up here. I don't like that. See, another name where it just had a very big move here, like pre-market. Sweeps the previous day high liquidity, instant rejection. Like just a lot of supply sitting up here. Let's see how Microsoft looks. Yeah, terrible price action. There's nothing there. Yeah, guys, it's a Friday. Like it's definitely looking at the PA. It's a low probability day. There's no doubt about that. There's no setups on any tech names. Pre-market, QQQ looked really, really good. Our thesis will most likely play out, as you can see. We held 599. We get over the previous day low. Bulls are in control, and then I think we can fill this gap to the upside. So I know since we gapped down, some people maybe came in looking to like chase this to the downside, but I knew this 599 is such a strong level, but just couldn't get a trade. It's kind of been the story lately. And then so far, SPY did reclaim 671.60. So who knows? Maybe on the daily, that was just a nice peak and fell. Yeah, literally identical to about 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Identical. It's a strong level, very strong level. If the price action was better, I was kind of hoping to swing Qs. That's why I was looking at Tuesday's expiration just to give this a little bit of time, but the comps were just very expensive just because a big move has already happened. But yeah, guys, most likely a cash day for me. I'll wrap it up at like 7:30. There's no point in like forcing anything going into the weekend. So good way to just sit on your hands, be a risk manager. So even if this sets up, I don't trust the price action for continuation. Video with a very random day here. So yeah, we're just gonna sit in this tight range. Just in here. So literally the same as last Friday. It's the same price action as last Friday. Yeah, Tesla's holding this 395. Not the best price action. On the 395, we can see 380, 320 here. Like I said, the thing about Tesla is the real, if we get there, I mean, well, we did this week. We defended this week. This 380, 320. Don't care about that. This is really the real, like, key line in the sand here on Tesla. This is a very important level. If we get under this, like, we can hopefully see clean price action and a melt to the downside. You can see we already pulled back this week, defended this 2 weeks in a row. 383.20 led to all-time highs. Roughly a month ago, we pulled back here again. That popped us back up into 436.35, and then we're holding this right now. So, well, we held this week. So this is really a strong level. This is like the key line in the sand. It's like either one of these, which already set up this week, or that. I'm hoping we can just break under. You can see we are trending to the downside here, but we do have this channel setting up on the weekly time frame. And if that channel breaks to the upside, that's really just the bounce from down here. Could definitely see that, man. That's a bull flag on the weekly time frame. So I would not rule that out. And it's one of those things where like your key levels are being respected, hell, but just crappy price action. Like there's no way you could take an entry on this. Peak and fell here on the daily. Ended up just reclaiming on that 7 a.m. pop, and now we're filling the gap. Main lesson here today is just not shorting anything, seeing that Q's is holding 599. That's the biggest thing here. Because you can see a lot of setups would have been a solid fake out. That looked promising. All these wicks off our daily look good. You see a big push here, another rejection, but Q's holding this was a no-brainer. I'm not shorting if we hold that. So that's like the main lesson here. That's what we've been doing very well. Just reacting off the market, letting the market pick a side and not trading against it. See what the small caps are doing. IWM, terrible. Terrible. It's nothing. I know Google setting up here. Yeah, not really any clean price action here on Google. And I'm getting a nice, probably here, break retest. Yeah, that would have been a little tougher on Google. Hopefully Google can clean back up. See, it's another name that's pretty much just ranging. Right now it's reclaiming the bottom of this range. Palantir. Yeah, nothing on Palantir. Just stuck in this range. There's still something to watch going into next week. We broke this. I'm making the assumption, we closed today above 599, the bottom of the range again on Qs. So if we stay strong, right, maybe this is something we can look for. And then, of course, right, a break and retest over 154. Had a nice peak and fail yesterday, but a lot of resistance up here. So we're just sitting in here on Palantir. Swept the previous day low liquidity, right? Filled those orders. Got to bounce here. The counter projection. It's crazy week. There's no setups really for continuation. Man. I really wanted this QQQ play to set up. I was just staring at this chart last night, and I'm like, man, this is exactly where I want this thing to be. Just right at the bottom of the range here. Like, look at that. I'm like, if I can get this entry, that'd be solid. But of course, just crappy price action. Some days it will, right? You see this day we ripped. This day we ripped. This day, like so far, 6 times out of 10, 6 to 7 times we hold and just get a straight rally to the upside. Let's see. And then what do we do regarding this week? Yeah, just another week of nothing. Yeah, that's 5 weeks now. It's all we've done. It's all we've done. It's crazy. Let's see, did SPY change? Yeah, SPY's a little heavier. Yeah, SPY was heavier this week. Right, that's the previous week's low, so we are under that. So you can tell so far this week, SPY and Q is really not too much in sync. Like I said, SPY is a little different because even though, right, we pushed to the top of the range barely a month ago, we've already made all-time highs. We're still very bullish on this name. So it rejecting the top of the range, I'm not too surprised. We just need Qs to give up 599. That's all we need. So you can see a strong key level here. We'll see if we'll hold this or if we can get a daily candle closure under 671. That would be solid. Let's see here. Yeah, it's pretty much our next key level here on SPY. See if we can get under this. We are holding this, so we'll see how the day closes. Yeah, that daily is like really wow. That's wild. Yeah, there's very strong buyers here at 671. Very strong buyers. Mm, yeah, crappy day. Yeah, pretty unfortunate. Q's did set up. It did set up. You have to send in some noise, but it did. Just I can't take anything with this chop. Can't do that, especially with option contracts. That's why I was looking at Wednesday expiration, but man, those contracts are like through the roof. They're almost $1 a contract. I mean, $10 a contract. So we held, right, just didn't give us the opportunity in these conditions. Uh, yeah, at the money, it's like 8. It's crazy. Delta's really good though on Q's. Not that much open interest. So I was looking at Monday. You can see the volume's much higher. The open interest is higher. Yeah, I think we would have moved fairly well. Let's see, what's the strike price here? 608. Whoever planned those, I think they got a good. Yeah, I think we'll see 608. If we hold 599, I think we'll see 608. Yeah, so just another day, right? Like thesis is spot on, analysis is spot on. You just really don't get an entry or the trade just doesn't play out. So bulls are definitely in control. We held our weekly 599, bottom of the range. We are holding now above the previous day low. I think we fill this gap here. I think we fill this gap. Yeah, big hammer stick candle on SPY. Today may close green again. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. It took some time, maybe like 30 minutes, but it held. Now I think we'll see. I think we can see 606, or if we really want to stay strong, and then maybe fill this gap. Yeah. Yeah, I hope this one makes sense. That's why I was looking at Tuesday. I wanted like Tuesday or Wednesday contracts. Because even if we start to kind of sit in this, it won't affect us as much. But playing Monday or Tuesday expiration, definitely Mondays, that would have crushed us. Premiums would have crushed us. IVs would have crushed us on this. Yeah, really nothing on Tesla. All these names are filling the gap to the upside. For Tesla, the road trade I wanted was either going to be, it was very simple here, depending on Qs. If Qs gave up 599, just looking for a gap and go, break and retest off our key level. Qs held, right? We could look for that too and fill the gap to the upside. That was something that I said, but just scrappy price action. I would not care to go long off the previous day low. Like I said, 2 days in a row on the daily, we held 402. So this is really the real trade as well, like a pop and fade or reclaim over this. It's a weekly level. So ended up holding. Previous day closes up here. I don't think we'll see that on Tesla. I don't think we will, but unfortunate. And then AMD, yeah, just in the middle of the range. That's not. Yeah, all these set up pre-market, swept that, and then just bounced. I was hoping NVIDIA could break a range this week. Not even close. Got to get out of this. Got to get out of that. Everything is ranging. And then it just doesn't help when Q's hold at the bottom of the range. Right? If Q's can give up 599, I think a lot of these names can really see some downside. But once again, we hold this on Q's, which is not really ideal. I think these all might play out. Sean Hood. Yeah, nothing Hood. Intel. Yeah, everything's just in a range. It's crazy. AMD, we already looked at that. SMH, semiconductor. Yeah, held that very well, filling the gap as well. Silver. Yeah, now silver stuck in a range. I think silver can see some upside if it gets over. Yeah, this is a big deal. It's a big resistance. You can get over that. I think we could see 80 on SLV. Yeah, strong here on Google. Reclaim bottom of the range. Let's see. 1 hour. Yeah, I have this labeled for a double bottom for a reason. You can see we pretty much held this out of peak and fell. So maybe next week, get something like that. That's solid. That's something I would definitely watch here on Google. Yeah, I think that might do it. Yeah, there's no setups here. So enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the day off. Kind of frustrating. Q set up perfectly, kind of like we wanted, just terrible price action. Uh, SPY is heavier on the weekly, as you can see, compared to Q's. So Q's is just doing his own thing. The overall indices are not in sync together. They are not in sync. As of right now, yeah, SPY's about to break through the high day, but Q's is just stronger, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. On the weekly, I mean. What else am I missing? I think that's all she wrote. Yeah, Q's is gonna definitely fill this gap, I think. So what's the top of the range here on Q's? Just for a channel break, it would have to be, yeah, it would have to be, we got to break 613. We have to break 613 or 587. One or the other. If we can start a week off under 599, I think that can help us out. But you can see so far, the body of the candle in the weekly keeps closing above 599. So we got to get a break to either side. Because as of right now, I mean, depending on what happens this weekend, of course, coming into next week, we're just having another inside bar week. We're just opening it back up in the range. That's all we're doing. So a whole lot of nothing going on. Yeah. Kind of like I showed you here on Q's, that this is something I'm seeing, right? If we get a break above 613.20, we can see it push into 629 here. I think we can. All just depends. Because when you look at Q's, I mean, we have been consolidating, but what we're waiting for is, after we had our nice trend, we're really just waiting for our next leg lower or our next leg higher here. We're just consolidating. So right trend higher, consolidation, next leg lower, next leg higher. That's all we're waiting for. So that's why we're just neutral in here. Higher time frame, we're sitting very high. We're just waiting for either side to break. It looks very promising every time, but then buyers step up and defend this. I'm hoping like, okay, cool, we can do this. But with this downtrend, I wouldn't be surprised if we have like a blow off top, like I just showed you on Tesla, or we can just melt to the downside. Whatever it wants to do, just needs to hurry up and do it. Yeah, that was spot on. Yeah, that was a dot. That was a 10 out of 10 analysis there on cues. That pulled in. Yeah, now we're just going to consolidate here on Amazon. Amazon still gave a solid move. You broke through the low day here. So, dang, I know. Yeah, Q's played out very nice. Really nothing on our check names. But yeah, solid day, guys. Good way to be risk managers before traders. There's nothing here. So not trading is still trading. Preserve your capital. Uh, I will send out a schedule today at market close just for the educational video tomorrow. What time I'll do the charting. I'm pretty much just going to erase all my key levels, right? It's a good habit to develop and then just mark out new key levels. So we can do that together as a whole. But good week. Just a whole lot of nothing going on. We can really expect to just really just be conservative. We just got to remain conservative until this channel breaks outside of this range. This is all we're doing, which sucks. Highest probability shot was down here. We were looking for it. PA just didn't give it to us, but it is what it is. Just got to get out of this one way or another. We have to. So we did have a very big gap down. I think going into Monday, depending on what happens, we could see some continuation higher just because, well, we already defended the bottom of the range. We're working on filling the gap now. So bottom of the range, top of the range. So I think we could see it push up into 613.20 here on Qs. And then I think SPY still in this tight range too in 1 hour. Yeah, see, this is good. SPY broke out of this. Could be a peak and fail, right? We saw what happened last time. We pulled down to 699. Yeah. Have a good one, Jason. I will see you this weekend and see you on Monday, but yeah. Solid day here, guys. Nothing going on. So I will see you guys on the next one.